So let's talk about something you've probably heard before, the idea of the easy child. It always sounds like such a compliment, right? But today, we're going to peel back the layers and look at the hidden psychology behind that label and what it really means for a person as they grow up.
I mean, we've all heard this, haven't we? It's said with such pride. It's like the gold star of parenting. But what if that praise is actually rewarding a child for hiding who they really are? Let's dig in.
And that's really the million-dollar question. Because even though it feels like a good thing, psychology is telling us there's a much deeper story here. It's often not about a calm personality, but about a child's survival instincts kicking in.
Yeah, it turns out being easy is often this brilliant unconscious strategy for adapting. Kids learn to read their emotional environment, and they figure out exactly what they need to do to feel safe and loved. This is especially true in homes that might be a little chaotic, stressful, or where emotions aren't really talked about. And in fact, psychologists have pretty much nailed down 5 key patterns that give us a glimpse into the inner world of the so-called easy child. These are the subtle clues to what's happening just beneath that calm surface. So let's break them down together.
All right, first up, these kids are masters of adaptation. They're like emotional chameleons. You know, they can walk into a room, instantly sense the mood, and adjust their own behavior on the fly just to keep things smooth.
And check out this contrast. On the outside, what you see is a really cooperative kid. Easygoing. But what's happening on the inside? That child is often walking an emotional tightrope, carefully managing everything they feel and need just to avoid adding one more ounce of stress to the situation.
And this doesn't just go away, it becomes a lifelong habit. As adults, they're the ones who are constantly scanning every social situation, but they're not asking, what do I want? No, they're asking, who does this situation need me to be? And that is absolutely exhausting.
Okay, the second pattern is all about what they do with their feelings. While some kids might have a full-blown meltdown, which is totally normal, by the way, the easy child learns to just swallow their emotions. They start to believe that their feelings are basically an inconvenience to everyone else.
So what ends up looking like this incredible maturity for their age is actually a child learning to silence their own heart. Instead of showing that they're angry or sad, they just tell themselves, it's fine, I'm fine. But deep down, they're really not.
And here's the price they pay later on. This can create adults who are so out of touch with their own feelings that they honestly can't even tell you what they need or want. They've just spent their entire life hiding their emotions, even from themselves.
All that emotional bottling up leads us right into our third side, hyper-independence. And this isn't just about being self-reliant. No, this is about building an emotional fortress around yourself so that you can never, ever be seen as a burden to anyone.
This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? We all want our kids to grow up and be independent, for sure, but this is something else. This is a level of self-reliance that's born from the deep-seated belief that needing help makes you a problem. So what do? They just stop asking.
And as an adult, this makes it incredibly hard to form deep, trusting relationships. They find it almost impossible to let anyone in to share their pain because they believe that asking for support is a sign of weakness. It's a really lonely way to go through life.
So our fourth sign really gets to the core of why this all happens. They learn a very simple, very powerful equation early on. Being easy and low maintenance is how you get loved.
You know, kids are incredibly smart. They figure out what works. If being quiet and helpful earns them praise and keeps the peace at home, then that's what they're going to keep doing. It's not just them being a good kid, it's a full-on strategy for emotional survival.
And there you have it. This is the origin story of the people pleaser. They learn to put everyone else's needs first, absolutely terrified of disappointing anyone. Their own wants and needs get buried under the weight of trying to keep everyone else happy. All that constant people-pleasing leads us to our final and maybe the most heartbreaking sign of all. They learn to completely hide what they truly need from the world. And this is a really important distinction to make. It's not that they always feel fine. It's that they've learned their needs just aren't as important as everyone else's. So they make themselves small, they make their needs smaller, almost to the point of being invisible. The long-term impact of this is just a profound loneliness. I mean, they can be in a room packed with people who absolutely adore them and still feel completely and totally unseen. Why? Because they've gotten so good at pretending they're fine that nobody ever thinks to look any deeper. Okay, now it is so important to say that this isn't all doom and gloom. This process of adaptation actually forges some incredible strengths.
We're talking about deep empathy, a powerful sense of responsibility, and amazing emotional control. These are basically superpowers. The goal isn't to get rid of these traits, but to understand where they came from and maybe heal the wounds they might be covering up.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, maybe we just need to change how we define a good child. Maybe it's not about raising a kid who never causes any problems. Maybe it's about creating a safe space where a child feels they can bring you their problems, where they can be messy and difficult and know without a doubt that they'll still be loved.
And that really leaves us with a question, not just about parenting, but for all of us, in our own lives, with our friends, our partners, and even with ourselves. How can we create more spaces where it's safe to be difficult? How do we let the people we love know that it's okay not to be easy all the time, that it's actually safe to just be human?